Today's video is going to be on how to focus on yourself in a relationship. Focusing on yourself in a relationship is hugely important. It's one of the key features that makes sure that your relationship is actually going to last. So let's go and look at some of the top tips to help you focus on yourself to create the kind of sustainable relationship that you're hoping for. The first question that we really want to ask is, why is it so difficult to focus on ourselves in a relationship? Surely we're all secretly that little bit selfish. Surely we all secretly want to just do our own thing, not really worry about what our partners want, just look for what's going to make us happy. Well, it doesn't really work like that. At the beginning of a relationship, when we're first in love, we're absolutely smitten. The other person becomes so central to so much of our lives that becomes the new normal. That becomes what we consider to be how that relationship works. So when that honeymoon period is over, and it does end, pulling back and starting to refocus on our individual needs feels like we're actually letting the relationship down, or as if we're pulling away and creating more distance. And that can feel like we're losing our commitment. It feels like we're doing something wrong. And even if intellectually we know we're not, it does make it difficult. The next thing is we might have a partner who's a little bit needy, who doesn't want us to focus our attention on ourselves. And so sometimes we can struggle to create enough space for ourselves because our partner wants to just be that little bit closer than we do. And that's okay. But we need to make sure that we are fulfilling our own needs as well as those of our partner. As women in particular, we're used to the idea that it's our job to look after others. And so we're quite often used to just putting our needs second, not really thinking about what our needs are and worrying about the people we love instead. So that makes it difficult for us to focus on ourselves in a relationship. There are social pressures for us to give everything to our partner, and that pressure can make it difficult to pay attention to your needs as well. I'm going to use a little bit of a cliche here, but it's true. You can't pour from an empty cup. We need to look after ourselves and make sure that our needs are met so that we can then give our time and our love and our energy to our partners. We can't be in a healthy relationship if we're not also taking responsibility for looking after ourselves. So how can we focus more on ourselves as part of a healthy relationship? Let's start by looking at the different spheres of well-being. Because when we talk about well-being, you might be thinking of your emotional well-being or your mental health, or you might be thinking of your physical health. But there are actually multiple spheres to our well-being, and it's our job to make sure that all of our needs are met in all of those spheres. So we need to think about, yes, our physical well-being. Are we looking after ourselves physically? We also need to think about whether we're looking after ourselves emotionally and socially. We have social needs, and we need to make sure that those are being met. We also have spiritual needs. Whether it's religious or not, we have needs that are deeper than that. And we also need to fulfill our intellectual needs. So sometimes we just feel the need to learn something, to think about something, to be able to explore ideas. So those are kind of the spheres of well-being that we really need to make sure that we're looking at. So let's dig down a little bit more now into actual things that you can do to focus on yourself in your relationship. Firstly, let's talk about maintaining our friendships. Friendships are hugely important in our lives, and it's normal at the start of a relationship that some of our friendships will start to fall by the wayside a little bit. We're so wrapped up in our new partner and our new relationship and how wonderful everything feels that we sometimes struggle to make time for our friendships. Ideally, it's worth keeping those friendships going and putting a little bit of effort into maintaining them, even when really all you want to do is spend all weekend with your new partner. Your friends are a long-term part of your well-being, and they're going to be the people that you come back to help maintain your social and your emotional well-being. If you have let some of your friendships slide in the early days of a relationship, that's okay. We've all done it. We all know what it feels like. Send the message, say hi, come back to your friendships, and think about maybe building up new ones. It's a really good way to focus on yourself and not be completely focused on your relationship and your partner. It's also worth spending time doing things just by yourself. So, yeah, sometimes we want to spend time with our friends. There are loads of things that we want to do with our partners, but all of us do need at least some time by ourselves. Now, different relationships will have different amounts of time that you spend by yourself. Some people don't need much time alone. Some people need a lot of time alone. In some relationships, you guys might even shower together every morning, and that's fine. But for other people, they want to be able to have a bath for an hour and a half and have that as their time that they sit and think and are alone. So it's really important that you work out what your needs are for alone time and why you need them and what it is that's going to make you happy in that time alone. When you spend time doing things apart from your partner, it gives you something to talk to them about. If the two of you are together all day, every day, there's actually not that much to talk about, and it can make the relationship quite stale. So spending time apart makes it easier for you to keep things interesting and just generally connect over your differences as well as your similarities. Time alone allows you the space for self-reflection and thought, and that's more important than a lot of us acknowledge. When we're with our partners, we see ourselves as we're reflected in them. We see ourselves through how they see us. But self-reflection allows us to see ourselves in a different way. And that can be really important for personal development and personal understanding. With our me time or alone time, that's quite often hard to schedule because every time that something comes up, it'll typically eat into your alone time. You can't just decide that you have to go grocery shopping during the workday because your boss is going to object. If you've got something planned with your partner, again, it doesn't seem reasonable to decide that that's the time that you're going to go and deal with errands. So we tend to allow our me time to drop. Don't do that. It's really hard to prioritize it, but it does help. You might find it helpful to actually put it into your calendar and treat it as an appointment just as important as every other appointment you might have. So, you put it in there in the same category as your doctor's appointment or an appointment with your hairstylist. That way you make sure that that time is set aside and that you do spend it the way you want to. Another way to focus on yourself in your relationship is to make sure that you understand your goals and that your partner understands their goals. You guys don't have to have the same goals. It's okay to have different goals as long as they're complementary. If your goals are in conflict with your partner's goals, then things are going to get pretty tricky. But as long as they both are able to run side by side, it's worth having different goals. One of you might be super focused on your career. The other one might not really care about their career, but really want to learn a new language or to have the opportunity to travel. And that's fine, as long as you both know. And having different goals can actually be a way for you guys to connect as well, because there's a lovely feeling knowing that your partner doesn't particularly want the goal for themselves, but they're cheering from the sidelines for you. And that's an act of generosity that can be quite meaningful. If you're going to be focusing on yourself and making the space for yourself within your relationship, it's really important that you learn to disagree well. We're never going to agree with somebody else 100% of the time. And I'd worry if I found myself in a relationship with someone where we didn't disagree about anything. Conversations would be very short and I wouldn't be learning anything. And for me, that would be a problem. So it's really important that you learn to disagree well. So listening to each other and being able to disagree without enormous, great big rows or without anyone getting their feelings hurt. Part of being able to disagree well is about being able to set effective, healthy boundaries so that you know this is a thing that I will do, this is what I won't do. And your partner knows those as well and respects them. Learning to say no is often tricky, but it's so important if you're going to be healthy in your relationship, which is essential for your relationship itself to be healthy. Hobbies can be a really important part of focusing on yourself in your relationship. It doesn't matter what it is that you enjoy, but having something that you enjoy spending your time doing and that you can focus on and that brings you pleasure allows you to really feel that you are a full independent person completely apart from your relationship. And that's hugely important because a relationship is far more successful when you're both coming to it as full, independent, complete people who come together to create something even greater than you already were, rather than looking for someone to complete you. Two wholes creates something much, much better than two halves that manage to create a whole together. And feeling like you've got those hobbies and those interests that are a part of you, whether it's going out for a run, curling up with a good book, taking up pottery, whatever your interest is, it's okay as long as it's something that fulfills something for you. Exercise is another really important thing. That might be part of your hobbies. It might not. Taking the time to look after your body, to exercise, maybe to do stretches, whatever it is that helps you to feel physically healthy is really, really important. We know that your physical health and your mental health are inextricably linked. So when you work on your physical health, you are helping your mental health, your emotional well-being will improve. The final thing I'd like to suggest is that it's always worth recommending to your partner that they also do these steps. When both of you are taking the time to focus on yourselves in the relationship, it allows you to create a sense that this is a normal part of your relationship. Spending time apart, having your own hobbies, taking responsibility for your own well-being. If both of you are doing these things, you don't feel so selfish. It doesn't feel like you're pulling away. It feels like both of you are working together to improve yourselves in a way that's also going to improve your relationship. So those are my ideas for the best ways to help you focus on yourself in your relationship and to improve your relationship as a result. Do you have any other ideas? I'd love to hear them in the comments. It's always lovely to hear what works for you, what doesn't, and any of the ideas that you've had that maybe I haven't thought of before. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll be back for more soon. Bye-bye.